So here's yet another short story of a good man. I mean, a very good man who really was trying to do a good thing, who completely was taken advantage of by an opportunistic and greedy single MOM. However, in my opinion, it's not going to be long before she'll be back begging for a second chance, and he'll have the opportunity to have the last laugh. Titled, When You Lose Two Women in One Night, The Heartbreak of a Stepfather. Now listen to this, guys. It says, the pain of being a stepfather is something I will never wish on even my worst enemy. I loved her and her daughter. The baby's father died when she was born. I met her mother when they were both so alone and needed someone to love them. More like someone to pay for them. I was an older man with no kids who always wanted a family. She was younger than me. I always wanted to be a father, but never had the chance. I raised her like my own from the moment I met her. Classic white knight. But the thing is, this guy didn't know any better. As many guys don't. So this is why I do these stories, so maybe one of these guys one day can hear a story like this and not be like this guy. There was no blood test that could have told me she wasn't mine. I was there for her first steps. I was there for her first words. I knew what her favorite cartoon was, her favorite color. I read her books at night. I taught her how to ride a bike, how to fish, how to read. I never knew a best friend could be so small and have such a heart as big as the moon. She called me daddy. I called her my princess. And yes, he's talking about the daughter, not the girlfriend. One day, my ex told me she didn't love me anymore. She said I was the perfect man and the perfect father on paper. You guys can see where this is going. She said I was loyal, I was kind, I was patient, I was supportive, I was romantic, I was committed, responsible, honest, and I gave them everything a woman could ever ask for. But she was missing the spark. Shocker. Hobag Handbook, Chapter 11. She told me she wanted to find that spark with someone else and never felt it with me. She wanted to feel the butterflies. Then go to the freaking zoo and that place where there's chains and shit, and you go in there and there's all these butterflies flying around. That's where she can get the butterflies. You see how great this guy was to her and her baby? And this guy raised the little girl as his own. And now just like that, boom, takes her away. Maybe depending where you live, he might have some rights, but probably at the end of the day, no. What a shame. This poor guy. Heartbroken here. And do you think this gal, who this guy's shown unbelievable kindness and support to, cares? Nope. She wants Chatter Tyrone to give her the butterflies. Well, wait till Chatter Tyrone throws her to the side of the road. I'll never forget that night. My stepdaughter was laying asleep in my arms. She packed her things and took her from my arms in the middle of the night. I cried and begged her not to leave. Smack. Never beg or cry, especially beg. Now, I feel bad for this guy, but I had to smack him anyway, otherwise you guys would smack me. I told her how much I needed them both. Never, ever tell a woman you need her. That's the worst thing you can do. She didn't care. My daughter cried for me, reaching her arms back to me. Daddy, I want my daddy. And I cried back to her. Please don't take my baby, I said. And with those last words, they both walked out the door out of my life. What the fuck? Talk about heartless. The little girl wants to be with this guy. Nope. Mama, the 304, wants the butterflies. This poor guy. I still see her ghost in my house. I still hear the laughter she left behind and the giggles. I still see her light. I still watch cartoons when I'm alone just so I can remember. She was the only daughter I ever knew, and I love them both. In life, sometimes there's no good reason, there's no good explanation, there is no closure. Sometimes your love just wasn't good enough for someone who wonders what else is out there. Sometimes the grass is greener on the other side, but the truth is the grass is only greener wherever you water it. I guarantee you this freaking single MOM who he's been great to will be back when things don't work out with the dude that gives you the spark and the butterflies. It never does. This is my first Christmas alone without them. It was brutal. I can't get out of bed. I put a Christmas tree, but it was empty. Are there any other men out there that have decided to never date a single mother again? Are there any men out there that became a father after 40? Where do I go from here? I don't want to date casually. I don't want meaningless or casual sex. All I want is to be married and have a family. Damn, I feel bad for this guy, and obviously this happened around Christmas. Talk about heartless. Just like that, she tossed this guy like that. Now, I'm not done yet. He has more things to say, but this is why, guys, don't wish. You want a family? Find a gal that's single, that doesn't have kids, all that. Now, I'm not saying every single mom's going to do this. I know some good ones, but God almighty, this is the extreme case of what can happen. He also said, I want to take a minute to thank everyone for all the supportive comments and messages. People were very nice to this guy. I wasn't expecting this kind of response. When I posted the story, I tend to pull away from everyone I know when I'm depressed and hurting. And this was the first time I really told anyone about what happened. My family knows something is wrong since I didn't show up to any of the gatherings, but I haven't given them the details yet until I can process it all. I guess I felt more comfortable sharing on Reddit. I used my real account. I wanted it to be real and raw and authentic. Anyway, everyone here has really got me through the night. I feel heard, and more important, I don't feel alone. Sometimes when you're in pain, it's easy to forget how much other people are also suffering, sometimes a very similar pain. I once read a quote that is fitting. We are all alone together. Thank you, Redditors. Look, and there are a lot of wackos on Reddit. We all know this, the Reddit Brigade. But there are also good people trying to help. People that actually have a brain, that are reasonable, rational. And if they help this guy out, great, But he's got to tell his family, he can't be alone, especially not this time of the year. There's a stereotype about people ending themselves because they feel so alone. I want that to happen to a good guy like this. I'm just going to say that, and he has a few more comments, but I want to say this to this guy. You never know, you may see this. She'll be back. I guarantee you she'll be back because I've done too many of these stories. I lived long enough to see this shit happen to people I've known. She'll be back because guess what? The dude that's giving her the butterflies is going to give her butterflies, but he ain't going to do anything else for her. It'll be a mess. And she'll be begging and pleading this guy to take her back. She'll say she's so sorry and I made a mistake. Don't fall for it. Even though you want your little girl back, because believe me, she'll rip your heart out again down the road when she's bored. And would you want somebody that could easily just toss you aside like that? And you may be a religious man and believe in forgiveness, which I'm all for forgiveness. That means you got to have that person back in your life and forget what they did. So be very careful, sir. Your life has value. You're over 40 years old. You still have plenty left to live. Once you heal, work on yourself, and dig down and find out what caused you to be the white knight savior to this woman. Was it you wanted a family? This is the easy way. I don't know. Was she young and beautiful? Put on the charm. I'm sure something like that. And work on yourself and figure that out. And maybe, who knows, you may have something better on down the road because you're a good man. You got a lot of love to give, and you're great to this little girl. And I'm so sorry it happened to you. I really am. But she'll be back. I promise you. And don't take her back. Otherwise, it'll happen again because she'll then know, no matter what she does, you'll be there to take her back. Please don't do that. Now, again, they respond to a few questions, and I'm just going to read them in case you guys want to hear. One response was, he says, to be honest, I suffer from depression sometimes. I do have to be strong because the last time I was this depressed, I ended up with a weapon. In my hand, I almost pulled the trigger. Oh my God. Dude, don't do that. It's the holidays. There's a stereotype about that. My stepfather offed himself when I was a boy after him and my mom separated, but I think he had PTSD from the war. He was a retired Marine. He used the same weapon he taught me how to shoot with. Thinking about how he took his life is one of the reasons I try not to even go down that route. He says, I'm not thinking about ending it right now. I'm older and wiser, and I understand how to navigate my pain better. Good, dude. You got to tell people. You got to reach out to people that care. It's not worth ending it for. You can have a great life, but your pain is understandable. There are others like you out there. You will get through this. Take it 1 day, 1 hour at a time. That's it. Get through the hour. If it's 2 o'clock, get to 3. 3 o'clock, get to 4. And then the next day. It will get easier with time. Get outside, walk, hit the gym. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. Move around. Be with people that care. He also says, that was the plan. We were supposed to get married, buy a bigger house, have more kids together, and officially adopt my stepdaughter. Well, if he had adopted her, then he'd have rights to her. But this is why this woman's leaving. To be honest, I think she was dealing with issues. There were signs of bipolar. She was going to therapy, but didn't open up too much about it to me. Lots of highs and lows. Some moments she was as happy as high as the stars, and other days she was unhappy and didn't want to see anyone. I thought my unconditional love could fix everything. Well, get in line, sir. It clearly wasn't. And now she's going to blame that on why she made a mistake and be begging you back. Don't do it, even though I know it's so tempting to do that. And like I said, please take it 1 day at a time. Contact your family and friends who care. Do not you can't end it over this piece of garbage. And I don't care if she has genuine problems and all that type of stuff. If she wasn't willing to work on herself truly, then you can't save her. You can't fix her. The only one you can take care of is yourself. I just feel bad for that 5-year-old girl that's now going to have daddy issues because mom took her away from you, you know? And if you had adopted her, then you would have rights to her. That's the thing. You know, you could have maybe, you know, it could have been ended very differently. Now, I don't know. Maybe he does have some rights to her depending on where he lives in the law of the land. If there's any family law attorneys who are listening to this or social workers, maybe you can answer that question. But anyhow, guys, it's a sad one. But again, be careful. Single MOMs. Doesn't mean they're all this way, but this is an extreme case.